My name is Michael Trout, and I'm making this video to talk to you about an exciting new opportunity for your community, your country. If you're involved in economic development, if you're involved in bringing in new companies, bringing in new business, and this video is specifically for you. You know, I worked as an economic development practitioner for one of the top countries in the United States called National Community Development Services. Now, these guys are the Marine Corps for raising money for strategic initiatives. You know, they tackle massive campaigns. Recently, I am applying their methodologies to raising funds so we don't need investors to launch ideas, which I call Foundups, into startups. Now imagine that just as we raise, you know, this company's raised over $1 billion for economic development, right? A startup is an economic development strategy. The startup actually is an institution. What I've developed is the Foundup, which is the economic, right? It's the strategy, or I would say the initiative, to launch a successful startup, which is the institution. A startup is an institution because you have the framework of an institution, right? A Foundup is a collaborative framework that has no institution, and it's more like, in a way, if you think of it like a Wikipedia page is the Foundup, or the wiki is the page, right? The founder is the guy who starts the page, but when you start the page, it looks like crap, right? It doesn't look any good. And our goal is we put it into our open incubator framework, which is our C Corporation, Foundups Corp, and our FOIF, which is our free open incubator framework, which is coming, which is our nonprofit. Our Foundups Institute will run that. And ultimately, we develop sustainable ideas and launch them. We only launch them into startups when we know they're going to succeed. How do we know they're going to succeed? Well, they're making money. So until they're making money, they operate as part of our corporation, right? And we basically, just like when we raise money for companies, we say, listen, great idea, we're taking it from here. We'll build the team. We'll raise the funds. We'll find your customer. Once we validate those three things, we launch it. Now, I have something called Foundup Week. Now, Foundup Week is inspired by Startup Weekend. I am an event producer, and I produce one of the largest, most successful events in Florida's history called the Southern Shakespeare Festival that attracted over 30,000 people. Now, the problems with Startup Weekend are significant. One, it's a weekend event. You can't do anything with sponsors on a weekend event. Number two, there's limitations for attendance. Number three, there's cost barriers. Number four, there's no system of support, and only 10% of the projects that are initiated through Startup Weekend continue. What if I can solve all those problems? And we can. One is, Foundup Week is a week long. Foundup Week is free for developers, for professionals, and others to attend to help launch these Foundups into startups over a weekend by creating a prototype of them. The idea for these events comes from what I call change makers via a fringe festival, which takes place anywhere. So there's no limitation of space, right? So unlike, you know, Startup Weekend that usually caps out about 75 people, Foundup Week will have over 10,000 participants. And our target are not entrepreneurs, whereas the same as Startup Weekend, their target is entrepreneurs. Our target is not. Our target is change makers. All right? Change makers are defined as anyone from the age of 16 to 24 that has an idea about improving their community. So imagine 10,000 ideas coming into your community that we then select the top 10 individuals who basically come up with these ideas, and there could be multiple. This one guy's not going to just have one idea, he's going to have multiple ideas. And then we produce these prototypes over a weekend, and then not only that, we set up open incubators that will last the entire year, and this is going to be funded, taken care of by us, there's no additional funds. We also have a framework called the Open Incubator Framework that we plug these ideas in. So we create virtual teams, and you can see our framework online, and you can visit us and see that. And ultimately have 100% of those ideas continue. Okay? Not just 10%, but 100%. You know, my goal and my desire is to help the ordinary guy have an idea and launch it. Currently, that is impossible. You know, as an individual that's been doing startups for 16 years, you know, who has a tremendous network on both Facebook and on LinkedIn. I'm connected, you know, to billionaires, to millionaires, to all sorts of groups. And the bottom line is, if I'm having problems, and which I did in the past, launching my ideas, then the kid in India or in Africa or in China or in Malaysia or anywhere in the world, or even the person in Alabama or Mississippi who has that great next Facebook or that next Google idea, forget it. So the solution is us, the Open Incubator Framework. We are a social enterprise that desires to help anyone. And we have two plans. We have basically the Hold Your Hands $500 a year plan, and we have the free plan, right? Which is going to be sponsored by companies and other folks to help cover that expense for us, right? So here's your chance to join us. Become an advisor. It's simple. Just type in LinkedIn, Foundups Corp, right, as a new company, as new position, space advisor. It's passive. There's no other requirement. What you're doing is crowdsourcing, right, who we are to your network. It's kind of like you signing up for Wikipedia for the first time and telling everyone, hey, I've signed up for Wikipedia. It's kind of a cool idea. Or it's kind of like you joining something and getting that ping out. Because when you sign up, when you add yourself as an advisor, guess what? Everyone in your network gets informed that you're now an advisor. And they're going to be like, what's this advisor thing? Who's Foundups? And they'll come check us out. So I hope this helps to get your imagination going. I have a link below here. Read this first section of our Open Incubator Framework. It's probably about as much as I can release because we're patenting this. We're also building the actual platform, which is more of a command center than a platform, because we're going to use existing social media sites. Our thing is about using what's already there, not trying to create a new social network. Like everyone tries to create a new social network, that's a red ocean. It's like, let's create something and try to steal people from LinkedIn or anything. No, let's use LinkedIn. Let's use Facebook. Let's use Angels Co. Let's use CapLinked. Let's use, your Noodle or Grow VC or, all these folks are trying to steal people. We're like, we don't want to steal anyone. Let them stay. We have enough social networks. So you'll like, Foundup, what we do with Foundups.com when we launch, hopefully in the next 90 days. Anyway, my name is Michael Trout. You can call me anytime. Anytime. I'm available 24/7. And people test me on this. They wake me up at like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I'm like, no, I want to talk, right? Because this is important to me. And basically, if I'm sleeping, I'm not being productive, right? And I get enough sleep, so don't worry about my sleep. 202-360-4467. 202-360-4467. That's my number. It's a DC number, rings here in Japan where I'm at. Thanks a lot.